watching me from the depths below, a haunted grave where shadows grow. Deadpit is watching me with eyes so cold, they're watching me now.
Howdy everybody, and welcome to the 20th anniversary of Deadpit is Watching here on YouTube.
20 episodes of terror and misfortune
And the macabre.
macabre. Deadpit is watching episode 20, and this is a weird one because we didn't plan on this, but this is the mad scientist episode of Deadpit is Watching. Most of the movies we're talking about tonight involve a mad scientist of some sort doing bizarre experiments, and that was a big kind of subgenre of horror for a long, long time in the early days.
And I think I've got the movie that really kicked that off to review. In terms of like made that an incredibly popular.
Yeah. It's interesting, man. Like, I mean, the way that, you know, back in those days in the early talkies is what you're supposed to say. It's the early talkies is what these movies are. But we're going back there just for a day. But I want to kick it off because I always want to represent Jesus Franco, man. He's one of my favorites of all time. Right. This guy found the most beautiful ladies in all of cinema. This movie here is no exception. There's some lovely ladies. And I had heard a lot of good things about this movie too. This is known as, believe it or not, Uncle Bill, one of his best films, and easily, this is a quote from another review, easily his best looking movie. And I gotta agree with that. Like, I don't know. I think this was like a lower budget film. We're talking about the Diabolical Dr. Z from 1966. It's an early Franco film. And it does, I mean, it's the Diabolical Dr. Z stands for Zimmer, Dr. Zimmer, who has a heart attack, passes away shortly after he tries to sell his latest experiments that he has been doing on humans. But ultimately, he controls evil with these humans and experiments and everything. And the council is like, no, sir, we can't control evil here. Not in this dojo. And he kind of just goes, he's an older man, right? And that kind of just sends him off the wall, and he like passes away right in front of his daughter. And he has his daughter promise him to continue with these experiments. Don't let these bastards ruin my legacy. So the daughter's name is Irma, played by Mabel Carr. And she plans to get revenge on all those who have done her father wrong, right? She's wanting to avenge his death. And she gets, basically, it's just, I don't know if they called them strippers back then, but this lounge performer, maybe that's what they call them, and controls her, and she goes on kind of like a deranged killing spree, and she has knives for fingers. Very simple.
Let me ask you a question.
Not knives, long fingernails, right?
It's just a question I've been wondering. Is there any other type of killing spree than a deranged killing spree?
Well,
has there ever been like a happy
calculated killing spree?
Yeah.
They're serial killers. They're kind of deranged too, but they're planning it a little bit more, right? So this nightclub performer. This is a dual language movie. I think it was made in France, and it was very poorly dubbed, and a lot of it doesn't make a whole hell of a lot of sense. It is very well shot, and some of the scenes in it for 1966 are pretty ahead of its time. But yeah, I mean this one, I understand what they were going for, right? I mean the look of the killer in this. It's a blonde, very beautiful young lady with like this skin tight outfit, and she's got these really long fingernails. Pre Freddy Krueger.
It's a
She's
lady.
she's coming for you, baby. Howard Vernon is in this as well, who's in. I know he's been in a bunch of other stuff, but like a lot of Franco movies. Zombie Lake, I remember him in that. I think he was in Faceless, Lorna the Exorcist, and Justine. So he is in this at a kind of a younger age. He's one of those guys that almost looked like he was old forever. But this was from 1966, and definitely an interesting one. In the UK, it's part of Eureka's Classics line, and it's limited to 2,000 copies in that deluxe cod, baby. And I mean, is it one that I would highly recommend? No, but a lot of people were really looking forward to this movie, Uncle Bill. I don't know if you realize that or not.
I didn't realize that, and I feel bad for all those people because I hate Jess Franco.
Look, buddy, quit hating upon Jess.
Man. I don't think I've ever enjoyed a movie he's done. Now, granted, I didn't review this movie, so thank God for that. But I mean, I wouldn't be the person to review one of his movies because I don't think I've ever liked any of them.
Well, this is a French, Spanish horror sci-fi thriller. They did include the English dub, which I did appreciate. It makes it a lot easier to watch. And there is a lot of special features on this. There's an audio commentary by genre film expert and video watchdog founder, Tim Lucas.
Tim Top.
Death on the Continent, a new discussion of European Gothic horror. Awful, Diabolical, Sadistic, a new video essay by film historian Sam Dingham on mad science in Gothic horror, from Mary Shelley to Jess Franco. Boys, that's how they're going all over the place. It's loaded up with special features. Eureka does a fantastic job on all of their transfers, man. Like, they're one of those companies too that it's just mesmerizing. And this was a low budget horror movie from 1966, black and white, looks freaking amazing. And this was a Blu-ray. This wasn't a 4K. But if this sounds like something you're into, this is the Diabolical Dr. Z, aka Miss Muerte.
Miss Moretti.
Which I kind of like that name better, I think. It's not a very long movie. 87 minutes. It's an early Jesus Franco joint. Your Eureka has that one out now.
Arriba! All right. So I guess I'll start with this one, which I was super excited about. And I love most of this guy's stuff. Just something about him and the way that he put these productions together, especially in the late 70s. This is Dan Curtis's Dead of Night from Kino Lorber. This is from the Kino Studio Classics, I'm pretty sure.
They're doing a whole line of those too, yeah.
Yeah. These were amazing back in the day. So essentially these were anthology TV movies. And there were three short films, I guess you would say, in this one. And they premiered on, I believe it was NBC, CBS, NBC, yep. So I guess to walk through each one
and a lot of this stuff was not easy to find, I don't think, either. Before, is that right?
No, I don't think so. Like, I don't ever remember this stuff being out before. I mean, it could have been, but I mean, I had like Trilogy of Terror. Of course, everybody knew that. That's been out like a million times. The House of Dark Shadows, Night of Dark Shadows, all that stuff. That's been out a million times. And everybody knew those. But some of this other stuff I don't think was captured, or like put out in these kind of editions until now.
Yeah. And
So
that's the cool thing with Kino Lorber is they'll get these libraries, man, and they'll do them all justice. Which I don't know how many different sets of these are coming out, but yeah, we're going to be reviewing a couple more, I believe.
yeah, so if people aren't familiar with Dan Curtis, he was the guy that was responsible for Dark Shadows, which is one of the best gothic TV series of all time. I don't know how many episodes that they put out, probably thousands.
Four
Because
hundred
it
and
was like
fifty-four thousand.
it was like every
It
day.
seemed
Wasn't it
like
like
it was
every
every day.
day
Yeah,
there was a new show?
yeah, it was like a daily soap opera for
Yeah.
years and years. And dude, like that fan base, that is one of I think it may be one of the early hardcore fan bases for like a any sort of horror show or soap opera, really even.
Yep. So let's go through it real quick. All of these stories were also written by our buddy Dick Matheson,
Dirty Dick.
Dirty Dick, and they were all directed by Dan Curtis. So first, you got Second Chance was the name of this one, and this one was pretty cool. It was about a guy played by Ed Begley Jr. Ed
Oh
Begley
no.
Jr.'s in this fucking thing in '77.
What the fuck? How
Yeah,
old is that dude?
he's apparently pretty damn old. But he plays like a car collector, and basically it's one of those ones where you end up figuring out that the car can go back in time, which is interesting because this predates like Back to the Future
And Huey
quite a
Lewis
bit.
in the News.
Yeah. And so he ends up going back in time, and there's a cool little part about like um he he has to prove to somebody that he owns this car, but he can't show his driver's license because that would give away like the year that he was born, and like, you know what I mean? Like apparently at this point in time,
He had to just
nobody,
get somebody to make him a fake driver's license, is all.
yeah, nobody thought that that could be a possibility. Like if you said that, that must mean you're from the goddamn future or something. You couldn't just make like a fake license or anything like that. But anyway, it's one of those type of ones about like what happens if you go back in the past and it changes things in the future and
Hmm.
alters things. So there's that one, which that one was pretty good. My favorite though, I've got a soft spot for Patrick McNee, man. Patrick McNee was in the original Avengers series, played John Steed along with like Diana Rigg. I always love that show. He's in this. There's an episode called "No Such Thing as a Vampire,"
He just
and
does something for you.
he does. This episode has a lot of things about it that are very similar to Martin. I don't want to give away the twist in this, but both Martin and this movie were made in 1977. So I don't know if that's just like parallel thinking or I don't know, but there's a
Somebody
lot.
saw a script before somebody else.
There's a lot of small things in this that are like Martin. So there's that was that episode. Love that one too. And then the final one was called Bobby.
Damn it, Bobby.
Bobby. And Bobby was the only episode that was actually redone. It was remade almost like, a modern day remake that we would see today for the trilogy of Terror 2
Hmm.
TV movie that would come out, but which I thought was interesting too.
So this is like like an anthology movie, right?
Yes, it's like 80 minutes long, but yeah.
Okay. Yeah, it's
So it's
interesting
like,
because the one that I've got, which will probably be on the next show, is literally three feature length movies that were like, I don't know if it's like a mini series type thing or something. So evidently Dan Curtis had a lot of like, he was like the TV horror guy, which is interesting. I mean, that's more or less what he was known for, I guess.
yeah.
But the Burnt Offerings is the like one of the bigger theatrical movies. Like I don't know how many theatrical movies you did, but I think that one's severely underrated, man.
Yeah. So looking at this though, real quick, I did notice because we were talking about like did anybody else release these movies? It says Dead of Night was released on DVD by Dark Sky Films in 2009. And that DVD includes a 1969 TV episode called The Darkness at Blaisdon, which is a pilot for a Dead of Night television series that was never picked up. So, fun facts.
Interesting.
Yep.
So it's very cool that Kino is doing these deluxe treatment. I don't think they've ever been in. Well, this is Blu-ray.
This is Blu-ray, yeah.
Yeah, before.
So let's see what the special features are here, real quick. You've got audio commentary by Tim Lucas. That guy just stays busy.
He's working for all kinds of companies.
Introduction by Jeff Thompson, the author of television's Horror of Dan Curtis. A Darkness. Oh, there you go. A Darkness at Blaisdon, the 1969 TV pilot, which is still on this one too. Robert Cobert's music score highlights featurette and deleted and extended scenes and sequences from throughout the film.
Nice.
So 1977's Dead of Night from Kino Lorber and Kino Studio Classics. This is a perfect like anthology gothic kind
Do they
of.
have any alternate
show.
cover art or anything on the other side?
That's a good question. Nope, not on this one.
Because like I'm
That cover
guessing
art's killer as shit though. I'll tell you that.
yeah, they probably didn't have any. Like they had to commission all that cover art though because like this was TV stuff, so they didn't really have posters or anything to go by. But yeah, most of all that stuff's really good.
Ain't that killer? Look at that.
That is, and that is out now. Kino Lorber, and that is the part of the Studio Classics line.
Yeah,
I think right. There's some of them that's the Kino Cult.
Kino Cult's my favorite
Classics.
favorite sub label, but this is the Studio Classics show.
So
They've got like 17 different like sub labels in Kino.
They do. Raro Video was another one that we took a look at recently. But staying with the Kino, and I think this is the only movie that I'm taking a look at that is not mad scientist related. Okay, this is kind of a little break from that on this show. And I was looking forward to this because it'd been many years since I've seen this. And this is more or less like, they used to play all of these movies on the Superstation TBS back in the day on Saturday nights, Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights. And this was the one that they always played. And it'd been many years since I'd seen this, so I was looking forward to it in 4K. And I think that they're doing all of these movies in like a 4K set and a Blu-ray set. But we're going to take a look at Death Wish 3, Charles Bronson Bulls, 1985, Canon Pictures, Golden Globus. That cover, okay, Kino knew they just had to have that cover. He's back in New York bringing justice to the streets. Charles Bronson Bulls.
Hell yeah, he is.
And these movies are so fucking fun. Like they really
That's
are.
my favorite one of the whole series, I think, because
Yeah.
it's so insane and over the top in every way.
Well, it's almost like they realized with the third one, okay, we're gonna start having fun with these movies. We're going to be
Yes,
ridiculous, over the top. Yeah.
it's much more like it's like a police academy action movie more so than it is like a damn exploitation film like the first two.
Yeah, he takes like a fucking bazooka to the guy at the end of it. Literally, that's what it is.
Yeah.
And blows like half of the fucking apartment building. And then
Let me
like
ask you a question. If you shot a bazooka into a wall like right beside of you, don't you think that would like hurt you more than anything else?
it didn't him. He was
No,
just
he's
like looking
fine.
like, yeah, it's fucking killer. What we do? And this Michael Winter directed the first three movies. This is the last one, so they would do. And it's interesting because I was looking this up. This was 1985. Charles Bronson was like 64 years old. I think, 65 years old in
Wow.
1985.
What
And
the
he would
hell?
do two more of these. Like I think I reviewed like both. I like them all. I like all those movies.
I
Like
do
to
too.
me, a lot of people shit on 4 and 5, but I like those as well. But this one, Paul Kersey is back for the first time in New York City, and dude, like bad news just follows this fucking guy around immediately. Like he goes to visit. I think they had hinted like it's an old war friend, a war buddy or something like
Yeah.
that in the city. And by the time he gets there, gang members have already fucking like he's pretty much dead. And Kersey gets quickly arrested by these fucking dumbass cops that, they're like, he's to blame for it. And that was the police chief I remembered him immediately from Revenge of the Nerds 2, Nerds in Paradise.
Yeah.
Ed Lauder is the guy's name. Sheriff Stryker, I think, was Chief. He wasn't sheriff. Chief Stryker, played by Ed Lauder, who remembered Kersey from years before when he was banned from the city and his you know, vigilante enough. So he kind of recruits Kersey to help clean up the streets from all these gangs that's killing people, robbing people, raping people, graping people. And Kersey, of course, reluctantly agrees. And it kind of sets it up. And like the big boss guy in this, which there's always one, but there's never like one that's a serious threat or anything. This fucking guy, look, he's like a Richard Lynch lookalike that had
He
like
is. He looks
demolition
like
makeup on or something.
he looks like Richard Lynch and Scott Farkus had a baby.
And also this too, this shit's so fucking great. Like they introduce a fucking love interest just to kill in every fucking movie. They
Like
introduce,
if you're in love with Charles Bronson's movies, you're dead as hell. Like,
yeah, you better stay the fuck away. But he must have a bird of glory or something. I don't know, man. Them fucking women are, especially like the 30 years younger than him too. So they're all over I don't know if it's the combination of the mustache, the lisp, and the saggy balls, or he's just that, I don't know. But this movie's a lot of fun. I mean, this is 80s action was kind of a big thing then. Rambo was becoming popular. What else was around this time period too? They were like the Dirty Harry movies, I guess.
oh yeah, what year was this?
85.
Yeah, I mean that's when every action movie came out. Really, like I mean,
Yeah, the over the top
all
Arnold
the
stuff starting to come
all the
out.
ninja movies and all the Rambo movies and all the Arnold stuff.
Yeah, and this was Golden Globus, Canon Pictures. So, dude, like this is like, and the funny thing is with this too, because you think of a movie like this and you're like, what the hell? They're releasing that in 4K. This 4K looks phenomenal. Like
Yeah.
it's amazing what they did. I had a lot of fun with this, and it's crazy that as old as Charles Bronson looks in this movie, Death Wish 5 was nearly 10 years later after this movie. 94, I think, was the last Death Wish. But this one's a lot of fun. I highly recommend, because I didn't have this, and it had been many years. Like I said, this was like a staple on like TBS back in the day. It was on all the freaking time. Of course, a lot of the real violence and the boobies and stuff like that edited out. So it was good to see it uncut for the first time in many, many years. But there is some special features on this as well. You get 2 different audio commentaries. You get one with film historian Paul Talbot, who is the author of Bronson's Loose. I guess it's a series of books. Another audio commentary with film historian Steve Mitchell and Nathaniel Thompson. There's an alternate ending with optional commentary by by Mitchell and Thompson, and interview with actor Kirk Taylor and theatrical trailers. So they only went with this artwork too. There's no alternate art on this, which I think is great. And it's a Blu-ray disc and a 4K. If I can get it back in there. Lionel. So yeah, I highly recommend that one. It was a lot of fun. But they're doing, I believe, a box set as well of all, I think it's all 5 movies in a set later on. It might be next year or later on this year.
Hell yeah. I guess we'll talk about
Let's talk about it, baby.
Rampage. Not that shitty remake of the video game that came out in 2000.
This was one you was looking forward to for quite a while.
This is one that this was an unseen William Friedkin movie, and everybody knows that I'm a huge fan of his. And like this one had not been out on anything except VHS. And they finally released it, and they released it in 4K. And I was like, holy shit, like this has to be amazing. Because first of all, it's called Rampage. Second of all, it's got Michael Biehn in it, who's the lead. I'm like, how can this not be killer?
I always, the first thing I think of when I hear the word Rampage?
Rampage Jackson?
No, that video game Rampage. Do you remember
that's
that?
That's what I was talking about. Remember they did the movie remake of that or whatever?
Oh, that was supposed to be a remake of the game? I didn't know that.
Yeah, I think so, yeah.
Oh, well, fuck.
So
this
is a weird movie, man. I'm just gonna be honest with you, and I kind of understand why now that it's an unseen movie, or why it's been kind of like rolling around out there for so long with no kind of official release or anything. Because when you see this cover and you hear the name, I was thinking in my head, okay, this is going to be something like, Henry Portrait of a Serial Killer or something like that, right? It's going to be about a guy that goes on a rampage, that kills a bunch of people, and you kind of follow him around and things like that, which it is about that, but it's about a guy who goes on like a killing spree, gets captured by the police. The real crux of the movie is almost like a damn Clint Eastwood movie or something. The real crux of the movie is this. So it actually happens after they capture him. So about a quarter of the movie is before they capture him. The rest is after. So after they get him, it's a courtroom drama about the implications of the death penalty for someone who's insane.
So yeah, I always hate that in a movie when it goes to court.
That's about half, or probably more than half of the film. And Michael Bihn's a lawyer. I'm like, what a fucking waste of that's what you wanted him to do.
So this one didn't have even a DVD release?
I don't think so. I don't think it did.
Wow. Okay.
I mean, I can check on here and see, but I swear I think that it was only ever on like VHS before this.
Yeah, I know that this one had like a huge buzz when that people were like, because they were working on it, I think, when Friedkin was alive, and then they kind of put a halt on it because he was so difficult to deal with. And then after he passed away, it was like, okay, full steam ahead, let's go.
Yeah. So, I mean, that's a problem because it's just not the movie I was expecting, if I'm being honest. It still got great stuff in the beginning, like really powerful stuff that happens. And if you are of the mindset to watch a movie that's about like, what are the moral implications of putting somebody to death that's like was and is clearly insane, right? Like they didn't really know or understand what they were doing, or so you suspect that. You don't really know, and that's kind of another part of the movie too. Then if you're able to sit through all that, then it's like a Law and Order episode, really.
Yeah.
It's just what it is. Like I can't.
That's the thing. Sometimes movies like that haven't been out for so long, there's probably a reason,
Yeah, it
right?
just it feels that way with this one to me.
But it is
And
cool that they finally got it out. If it never had a DVD release before.
no,
So,
so I was looking on here and like so listen this is the history of it basically here real quick. Um it was on Laserdisc in Japan. It was on home video in 90 on VHS, right? Um Miramax's Library to Lionsgate to Echo Bridge. It was never released on DVD or Blu-ray during any of these periods of time when it was going back and forth to all these different companies. I think this is the first Blu-ray release or DVD release of this movie.
disc relief of any
Disc
sort.
release, yeah. Um, there's two cuts of the movie, okay? And of course, this is because William Friedkin's insane. Um, he wanted to go back and redo the ending of the movie from what the original ending was that he had. So there's multiple different cuts of this movie. So there's the original cut, and then there's the theatrical cut. So whatever the hell that means.
What's the difference in length of those?
That's a good
Does it
question.
say?
Let's see. Yep, 96 to 91 minutes.
Okay, so I mean, kind of a difference, but nothing major.
Well, the ending is the big thing that he changed the ending, and it's like a major kind of like change. I don't want to like give it away or anything, but it changes the whole tone of the film, really. So this has both, and this is a 4K. See, everything about this movie would indicate to you that this would be absolutely amazing. Friedkin's the director, Michael Bean's the star. It's got music by Ennio Morricone. Um,
Why do you think Michael Bean wasn't a bigger star?
I don't know, but he's not very good in this. So maybe that has something to do with it. I don't know how, but like he's
My,
very boring and bland in this role. And I'm not sure if he had the range to do things that were like not big over the top characters or movies.
so yeah, I mean, this was like '84 was Terminator. He did Aliens in '86, so this was directly after that. So yeah, I mean, this could have been the one that kind of derailed his career around
Yeah.
that time period, or one of them at least.
Yeah. I just I wish I could say I liked it more. I really do.
You
Like I
wanted to
want to.
like it, I
I
could tell.
wanted to love this movie so much. Anyway, special features on this audio commentary by Howard S. Berger and Nathaniel Thompson. Where's the Blood? Interview with actor Alex MacArthur. Psychotic Vampire interview with true crime writer Harold Schechter. And the theatrical trailer. It has both cuts of the film. It is 35 millimeter scan. Uh, there's this. I wonder if this has any. I don't know what the alternate artwork would fucking be.
Probably not.
No,
Yeah. Because I think that
no.
was the only artwork I've ever seen of that. I think that
Yeah,
was the
that's
VHS,
it.
the poster art, all that. But
But God bless him for putting it out, man. Like I mean,
Kino's had a hell of a year, man.
yeah, for
Showcase
people
that again.
like me, that are huge like fanboys for certain directors, like this was like one of the holy grails to come out that nobody had seen or very few people had seen unless you like watched the VHS or cuts of the VHS. This is the 4K and it does look amazing. Um, I've never seen it on anything else to compare it to, but like it does look amazing in this edition. So
Hell yeah. Nice. Nice. So I got a couple more movies to talk about. And the interesting thing with us and how long we've been doing the show is we haven't really talked a whole lot about Universal Monsters in any great detail or reviews or anything like that, simply because Universal just never, like, they would never send stuff to review, period, let alone the Universal Monster stuff. So that's what's going to be so fun about reviewing some of these from Imprint Films that came out and these are Blu-rays, so that's kind of interesting. I don't really know, because Universal is doing 4Ks. Maybe they wanted exclusive to the 4Ks and aren't licensing anything above the Blu-ray. But I was excited to check this one out because, this was early 1933, and they've tried to remake this movie I don't know how many damn times. And the treatment that Imprint is given these editions, these are the lenticular limited editions, which they've done a whole line of these for years, it seems like. And they're using the old poster art for the original one sheet poster art for the cover. And I just fucking love that.
Yeah.
Universal does not do that. They do this montage of fucking shots and shit. I guess they want to try to appeal to more people, because people in the U.S. are just, you know how people here are. Like, oh. Imprint's done it right, man. So this one that I've got is The Invisible Man from 1933, directed by James Whale. The same guy that did Frankenstein, which we're going to talk about as well, and the Bride of Frankenstein and The Dark House, which we reviewed. And this was during a time period too. Showcase it here. When these movies were so new, the talk movies and everything. Horror movies were like the big blockbuster, like big budget movies of the day in the 30s and probably up through the 40s. So they were really looked upon way different than horror movies in the 60s, 70s, 80s, or whatever. So they really put their all into these movies. I mean, these were legit, like they were serious. They were a big deal back then. And The Invisible Man and some of the effects that they did in this movie from 1933 hold up really freaking well. And we'll talk about that too. But the movie starts off on a snowy night, Uncle Bill. A strange, shadowy figure emerges he's got the hat on, he's wrapped up, his face is all wrapped up, has a trench coat, and is wandering in to this hotel / bar. I don't know what they called them back then. It wouldn't be brothel, right? That was like a whorehouse.
Yeah, it's a whorehouse. I'm not sure.
No, I don't know, but I guess that's, the typical hotel was a hotel bar or something then. And, like I said, his head is all wrapped up in bandages and all that. And this bar and hotel is owned by a husband and his loudmouth wife who reluctantly give him a room to stay. And they think all is well, but he never pays up. He's kind of like a deadbeat, Uncle B. He's a loudmouth, dramatic deadbeat that they find is doing these experiments in the room, and they try to kick him out. He doesn't take kindly to that. He's very short-tempered and gets violent with them and is pretty much a mean old bastard. He gets increasingly agitated. Claude Rains is playing the Invisible Man in this, and he's wrapped up. And dude, like, I didn't really look into how they did the effects for this back then, but for 1933, fuck. I mean, I guess it was some sort of early, almost like a green screen effect or something that they were doing with some of this stuff. Like, I don't know how they did it, but that works really well. And his acting in this movie is the movie, essentially. Like his voice and his behaviors and everything. So when they try to kick him out of he's a mad scientist. He's trying to perfect the serum or whatever for invisibility so he can rule the world. Right. And there's a backstory with his love interest, Flora, who's played by Gloria Stewart, who is the same actress that played the old Rose in Titanic, Uncle Bill.
I know. I heard that and I was like,
And
Jesus.
what a beautiful freaking woman back then, too. Holy shit. Breathtaking. But her father's a chemist, and she's looking for. He was Dr. Jack Griffin, I guess is his name. And, her father is also a scientist and knows that he's been meddling with this dangerous drug that causes him to be increasingly violent or whatever. And when they try to throw him out of the hotel, shit just goes down. It's kind of similar to Frankenstein, I think, in a way. It's a great of course it's a great movie. They've tried to redo it I don't know how many damn times. But his performance in it is really like it's the whole movie. Without him in it, I don't know if people would remember this movie like they do. Now he would later go on to be the Wolfman in that movie, probably what was that, 7 or 8 years later. But I think this is definitely the performance that made him in those movies. Got his name out there.
This was James Whale one too, right?
Mm-hmm.
He was the director. Yeah, I feel like that guy made a series of some like the best old Gothic Universal movies ever. He was just an incredibly talented director for that time period, especially.
Right.
And I've never seen this movie all the way through, I don't think, but I've always heard about it, and it has like, parts of it that everybody's seen because they show up in clips.
Yeah, the effects alone, it's worth watching because you're like, God damn, how did they do that back then? Like, that was just 1933. For instance, you've got the Invisible Man, like almost like frolicking in the street with just a pair of pants on. You can see a pair of pants running through the street, right?
Yeah.
I mean, clearly it's some sort of green screen effect or something similar to that. Had to have been. But I could only imagine the crowds back then watching this and being totally freaked out by it. But this is a great one, man. And Imprint did a fantastic job with these editions. I definitely wanted to showcase it again on here. It's a lenticular cover here, man. Yeah. And it does include a bonus film, The Invisible Man's Revenge.
Oh, God.
Which, what year was that one? From 1944. So this is a 2-disc set. Get the artwork again here. And now this is Region B. So unless you have a Region free player, it won't work with your shit. And it comes with Invisible Man art cards, which we definitely wanted to showcase on here. Which these are pretty much lobby card reproductions. There's the man and his wife that run the establishment there for the Invisible Man to go off on them. There they are again.
Oh, look at that.
Yeah.
Yeah, those are classic pictures.
Yeah, so pretty much a lobby card reproduction
Yep.
set, which those are really cool. And in Europe and Australia and all those places, they take physical media. Like, they go all out for these editions. Like, say what you want to sometimes about the movie, like The Keep. I mean, we're not fans of that movie, but Jesus Christ, I don't know of any other company that's done something that in depth for one movie.
No,
and they go all out. So, I mean, if you're into the Universal Monster movies, And you feel like each of these movies deserve some sort of special treatment different than what Universal does, which is typically just lop them all in one set. I like this one, man. I thought they did a fantastic job with it. So this is out now. I think this one came out actually in September, but they had just sent it to us not too long ago to take a look at. So picture quality on this fantastic as well. And I don't think I even had this. I may have had it on one of those old Universal Blu-ray sets, but it had been many years since I'd seen it, and it was a very cool one to go back and revisit.
So let's pick up from there too and talk about this masterpiece from Universal and Via Vision, Frankenstein, the original 1931 Frankenstein. It's got a lenticular cover as well. People moving around the background there. Ooh, he's moving around. Look at him. Frankenstein monster.
And that's the original poster art for that one as well.
So,
what the hell is that?
This to me, though, this movie is probably, to me, the best of all of the Universal movies that came out around that time. I like a lot of the movies that came around at that time, but this has got to be my overall favorite. And this is James Whale also. He directed this a couple of years before he directed The Invisible Man, pretty sure. And this, what are you going? Here's my problem. What are you going to say about this movie? Everybody knows this damn movie. Like, like the story, the characters.
It's another mad scientist.
It is. Yeah. So, I mean, to talk about it is kind of redundant because everybody's aware of what this movie is about. That's how famous it is.
This movie captures, like, and I don't know what I was trying to think, because Dracula and Frankenstein are both kind of like this, where there is, like, in the movie itself, there's like no music at all. I think they have like an opening, like, what is it, Swan Lake or something like that, that's opening in Dracula. And that's it. Like that. And I don't know if it's that because there's nothing else like musical cues or anything in it. And then, especially with Frankenstein, the way that it's shot, it's like a damn nightmare it's like a nightmare on film. Like it, I don't know. It's hard to explain, but I always felt that. Yeah,
it has a very unique kind of atmosphere to it that you don't really see anymore. Probably because the people jam so much shit into movies now, and it's just not that way with this movie. It's the story of Henry Frankenstein, who wants to put together a human being out of a bunch of different parts, basically, and ends up creating the Frankenstein monster that we all know and love that Boris Karloff played. He needs a brain for his monster, and Fritz, who's his assistant, accidentally damages the brain, and that causes the Frankenstein monster to be essentially like insane. There's so many classic scenes. There's so much shit.
Slow.
Yeah. There's so much shit in this movie where it's like, so they got the scene with the little girl that everybody knows about. You got the scene with, the assistant, the mad scientist, the hunchback assistant, the mad scientist, the fucking mob at the end that, wants to take him out. Like scene after scene after scene that everybody knows like 1,000 times over. But watching this back again, like, this is one of those movies you could really watch it like all the time. Like, it just doesn't get old. And I think that's got a ton to do with Boris Karloff, really. Aside from Freddy Krueger, I don't think anybody else inhabits like a role as well as he did the Frankenstein monster.
Now, was it, who's the effects? Was it Jack Kirby? Was that the effects guy?
I think it was Jack Kirby, yeah. But
so I think so.
I think you're right.
Yeah. But like that's the thing that's so crazy is how early on in films we were in 1931. They invented this shit as they were going along, man. Like, and you're talking about some of the most iconic makeup and designs in the history of movies, and we're almost 100. It was almost 100 years ago,
Yeah.
and people were still talking about it, and he was just coming up with his shit. Like that's the crazy thing too, and like even the effects, like we were talking about, the Vivision release of the Invisible Man, they were coming up with this stuff like, and it's still nearly 100 years later. This stuff still holds up. Like that is insane to me.
Yeah. This movie, it not only does it hold up, but I think it puts a lot of other movies to shame that are made today, even. Just because of that, because of its like the ingenuity that went into it and what they had to do to make it work, the practical effects that you had to do, the performances you had to do through the makeup and the effects and everything are still to this day like outstanding. The dialogue and the acting is great, not just for 31, but for like any period of time. I mean, everybody is rightfully so talking about Boris Karloff, but like Colin Clive, I think, is the guy that plays, Frankenstein. He's amazing in it, as is Dwight Fry, who plays Fritz, the assistant.
You any relation to
Um,
him?
No, it's actually spelled exactly the same too. I could be. I don't know.
I
Um,
want to look it up. Go on ancestry.com and see.
yeah, but this edition of this movie is fucking killer too. Like you're right, they use the original artwork and it looks outstanding. Something about black and white films, like something about black and white films around that time period look amazing in high definition.
They
So
really do, yeah. I
yeah,
think it's the contrast.
so Frankenstein is no exception to that. Even the disc itself, man, is freaking
Yeah.
killer.
And from what I understand, I think Vivision, this is just the beginning. I think that they're doing more of
I hope
these with their
so.
deal of with Universal, and these are all limited too. If we didn't mention from Vivision, mine is it's
Yeah.
limited to 2,000 of these lenticular covers. Mine is 673 out of 2,000, and I think all these lenticulars are limited, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, mine's 583 out of 2000. Here's the art cards though, and it's just like every one of these damn cards is a classic, one classic scene
Yeah, I like the color scheme they went with
after
there.
another.
Yeah.
So, I mean, you got Frankenstein and
And if somebody's in,
Frankenstein's monster
oh,
and the little girl, the
that's a great
classic.
shot.
Yeah.
And all of these, man, like, yeah, it's a great one there too. You could frame that shit, put it
Yeah.
all up, and I mean, some great stuff.
Outstanding.
Yeah,
So,
Vivision over there in Australia, Imprint Films, Vivision, whatever you want to call it. These guys, dude, like and we're going to be taking a look at a bunch more of their stuff because we're going to have another episode of this out probably in the next week or two. They've got lots of cool shit
but
coming
get
up.
this though, man. This was the part that actually impressed me the most. There's so many special features on this damn thing. There's like, okay, audio commentary by the two different film historians, Monster Track, Trivia Track, Frankenstein Files, How Hollywood Made a Monster documentary, Karloff, the Gentle Monster documentary, Universal Horror documentary, Frankenstein Archives documentary, Boo, the short film, 100 Years of Universal Restoring Classics featurette, Suspense / Frankenstein, a 1952 radio adaptation based on the novel, Trailers from Hell, Frankenstein, featuring Joe Dante, Boris Karloff, This Is Your Life, the full television episode that he did of This Is Your Life,
Dang.
And the theatrical trailers for not only this, but The Bride of Frankenstein, The Ghost of Frankenstein, Frankenstein Meets the Wolfman, and House of Frankenstein. That's all on this.
Wow. So yeah, man, nice additions for sure. Vision over there in Australia, and yeah, it's interesting because like back in the day, we were kind of, I don't know if we're anti Universal Monsters, but we just never did cover it.
It wasn't
It
our
was,
era, really. Yeah.
yeah, but they're definitely interesting films, especially looking at the history of the genre and where it's ultimately, unfortunately, become, today. But back then, they took this shit damn serious. So,
I mean, I got to admit that I've really, really loved every one of those that we've got like that. Like the packaging and the movies themselves are all like top notch.
yeah, I think we have got the Twins of Evil coming up. Carrie. They've got a killer edition of Carrie, and I think it's a 4K lenticular. Invasion of the Body Snatchers and Kolchak, the Night Stalker TV edition. So that'll be
Oh,
cool. But one more that we have got today, and this is one that I didn't know if we were going to get to review because it's been out a while, but they did this basic Boo, I'll call it a basic Boo edition, that, doesn't have all the bells and whistles, the hard, bulbous packaging that people love. But if you're just wanting the movie, I think this retails at a much more affordable $39.99 instead of like, what was the other one, like 70 some dollars or something like that?
it was around that, yeah.
So, Ignite Films did this Re-Animator 40th anniversary edition, and they came out with just the standard basic Boo edition, which I do like that artwork there. And Ignite Films is a newer company, and this is a 2-disc edition here. And there's no alternate artwork on that either. But man, there's been so many re-releases of Re-Animator, and people thought maybe we were picking on Ignite Films, blah stuff, and it has nothing to do with that. Here's the thing: that movie has been re-released and re-released and re-released so many times. Do you want to go through it real quick here, and we'll get into that review?
I'm curious. Yeah, I'm curious how many times.
It started with Elite Entertainment. Do you remember the green case?
Yep.
There was an Elite Entertainment edition. There was the big box Anchor Bay edition, which we did an episode of the Anchor Bay archives on that one that come with the pen and everything.
Yep.
They did one without the pen from Anchor Bay. The first Blu-ray was from Image Entertainment. So that's 3 different labels so far. And Arrow would later do a special edition Blu-ray and a special edition Blu-ray Steelbook, right? So what are we at? 4 different companies now, or 5, I don't know. And then now we're on to Ignite Films, and even after that, you're going to have Second Sight Films edition. Yep. So lots of versions of Re-Animator to choose from, and it is an excellent movie. I've always been a huge fan of this movie. As a lot of you guys know, we adopted the green and black color scheme partially due to Re-Animator, possibly for the show. But let's talk about it, man. H.P. Lovecraftian horror. I would describe it as just very odd, like dark humor with horror element, horror as well. So this was based on a 1922 short story from H.P. Lovecraft. Howard West Re-Animator and Empire Pictures, Stuart Gordon, all of them got together. Dirty Dick Band just bought sheet music for Psycho to come up with the story.
Look, we've talked about this endlessly, but it's true. there's a lot of people that ripped off Bernard Herrmann, but no one so closely ripped him off as this. It's almost verbatim the same
I
song.
think it's yeah, both parts. There's like a almost like a bridge part, and that's exactly the same. And in the beginning, but hey, he got away with it, so good for him.
How did he get? I would love to know the story behind that.
I
Did
don't
they
know.
just like run it through Chat GPT and say make this like as close as possible without getting us sued?
They didn't have Chat GPT back in 1985.
That's what I'm saying.
I'm sure
That
it
there
would
had
have.
to be like somebody had to be like, listen, we're going to get this as close as humanly possible without y'all getting sued.
Somebody let us know if you know, like how he got away with it. But all those forces joined together, and it's a loose adaptation of the Herbert West Re-Animator, and they made like this '80s gore fest with dude, like it's such a funny, like so much dark humor in it, and Barbara Crampton, man,
Mm-hmm.
God Almighty, the stuff with her and the cast of characters all work so well together, and that they ended up making 3 total movies, but nothing ever came anywhere near this first movie here. And I mean, we'll talk a little bit about it. What it is young. I guess he's a doctor in training. What do they call them? He's in medical school.
He's
Doctor
a
Herbert.
med student.
Doctor Herbert West arrives at the university and befriends Dan, played by Bruce Abbott, who I always got confused with Bruce Campbell back in the day too. And it's weird because they're both named Bruce and they both look pretty close to one
Don't
another.
you think though too that Bruce Abbott is kind of like one of those guys?
Generic
This
guy.
yes, like just a generic vanilla kind
Yeah.
of actor that just shows up in these movies. There's a bunch of them. Like the guy that was in Friday 13 Part 7 that was
Oh
like
yeah.
the same type of guy, just kind of like they're
Not,
there and don't really do anything.
why we need to say the guys like that would call him a Vanilla Bruce. How about
Yeah,
that?
yeah,
Vanilla
Vanilla
Bruce.
Bruce.
But they become roommates and kind of getting to know each other. Now, Dan is banging Meg, who's played by Barbara Crampton. That's his girlfriend, and like Jesus Christ, everybody's just in awe of her back then. What she was. Let's see, that was she would have been in her 20s. I'm pretty sure. Like she's like almost 70 years old now. I don't
Yeah,
know if
and
you
she
knew that or not.
still looks insanely
Yeah.
hot.
But yeah, her dad is the dean of the university, and Herbert's kind of like he's just a straightforward, like he tells it like it is, man. He don't try to kiss anybody's ass, and he pisses off one of the professors pretty much immediately, Dr. Hill, who will come back into play later on. But I think it all starts with Dan's cat, Rufus, who I don't know if they ever explained if Herbert West just killed the cat to test out his serum or whatever, but he's got this fluorescent bright green serum that he uses to reanimate the cat, right? And he shows Bruce or Dan or whatever, and they kind of begin their relationship there as far as, hey, I believe it. I guess Dan, he just won Dan over with that because he's like all in at this point. They get kicked out of the university. Soon thereafter, they hit up the morgue to fucking reanimate like people. And then it just all goes to shit after that. It goes haywire, I guess. But man, this movie, especially towards the end, like it's just got so many crazy, just off the wall scenes in it.
I think that's the best part about that movie, though, is the gore is great in it and everything, but like the humor, it's very hard to make one of those movies like that work. That are like dark comedies, like Return of the Living Dead does it. This movie does it. Bad Taste does it. Dead Alive, stuff like that. But like very, very few movies American Werewolf are able to do that.
David Gale in this, though, it's Dr. Hill. He's fucking perfect.
Yep.
And everyone, the scene that everyone talks about with him and Barbara Crampton, I just can't imagine who came up with that. That is just so out there. And you got to think this was 1985.
Yeah.
And what made it even better is Dr. Hill's decapitated at this point, but he has a goddamn dummy head on his shoulders
Yep.
that looks ridiculous. And that just kind of sets it.
So this movie's unrated, right? Like it never got a rating,
I think so. Yeah, it must be. Yeah.
as far as I know. Like,
But yeah, Dr. Hill, he is like the only zombie that when he is reanimated, he can actually talk, and he's almost like a dirty minded, like horny zombie or something. He's wanting to, and I don't blame him. I'd probably been the same way when it comes to, yeah. But, yeah, this movie's a lot of fun. It's a classic for sure. I'm glad that we got to meet Stuart Gordon back in the day, and yeah, I don't know if he really got to. I think he did. He did some conventions and everything. Got to maybe appreciate the fans and just what all he did for the genre back then. Because Re-Animator, make no mistake, it is a classic. It's hard to believe it's 40 years old at this point. And Ignite Films did a fantastic. Have you watched the transfer on this yet?
oh yeah, man. Like I told you.
Yeah. They just knocked it out of the park. Tons and tons of special features. They've got like all of the old legacy special features on there.
Mm-hmm.
They've got a bunch of new special features. Documentary, Re-Animator at 40, conversation with Jeffrey Combs, Barbara Crampton, and Brian Usna. Piece by Piece. Cutting Re-Animator with Lee Percy, The Horror of It All, A Legacy of the Impact of Re-Animator, interviews, and just tons and tons of stuff. I'll show you the back of it and you'll flip out, guys. All this extra features that's on.
Yeah, it's
discs.
crazy.
That is nuts. Yeah. They went all out with it. And I'm not sure what else Ignite Films released. But they knocked this one totally out of the park. I can't deny that. Now, we will take a look, hopefully, at the big box set from Second Sight Films to see, and maybe compare the transfers and all that. But, dude, like, ultimately, this is, like, I don't see this one.
That's what I was saying. Like,
Yeah.
it's very hard for me to imagine, like, that's going to be like a lot better somehow. Like, I just don't see that.
Yeah, I mean, maybe aesthetically, if you want all your Second Sight stuff together and you want Re-Animator under Second Sight, or I don't know. But fuck, Ignite, the discs itself, you can't deny. Like, this looks amazing. The way that this movie is shot as well, with the lighting effects and the just the green serum and the glow and all that. It's really beautifully made. Transfer, remaster, whatever you want to call it. Tons of special features. So yeah, I mean, a high recommendation again for Re-Animator, another mad scientist movie.
Mm-hmm.
And this is one of the more recent ones. So, like, I guess mad scientists were like a big thing in like the 30s and 40s, hardcore. Right, Dr. Jekyll and Mr. Hyde, I think, was one of the early ones. But
yeah,
yeah,
might be one of those.
I think that sort of thing is in the past. I can't see that genre coming back. What about you?
The mad scientist genre?
Yeah.
No, I don't think so. Although every now and then they try to do it. Like they mess around with it a little bit.
Yeah, like that new Invisible Man movie that was pure shit.
Yeah. The Substance, I don't guess that's not a mad scientist, but kind of.
Yeah, the scientist just isn't seen.
Yeah.
But that is it, guys, for episode 20 of Dead Pit is Watching. Episode 21 will be up pretty soon because we have got a ton of stuff to review. Lots from all different labels. So, yeah.
I'm looking forward to it
Busy
too.
times.
It's nice seeing some of this stuff.
For sure. So appreciate it if you would like and comment and follow and subscribe and all that good stuff. And always remember that Dead Pit
Is watching.
I know it feels like Dead Pit is watching
Watching
me.
And I got no privacy.
Oh.
A big thanks goes out to our supporters over at Dead Pit on Patreon.com. You can get hours upon hours of great content, right, Uncle Bill?
There's so many hours of content. We've got reviews. We've got songs. We've got live streams. We've got exclusive streams. We've got non-exclusive streams. We've got streams with all kinds of celebrities and all kinds of different old shows from the past podcast, the initial incarnation of the show. All of that can be yours.
Dead Pit on Patreon.com. Show us a little bit of love. Give us some money because we definitely deserve it. That Patreon page is so killer that you'll rub your bird to it on a nightly basis. It's that good.
You won't be able to contain yourself. You'll have to jerk your bird out and go crazy. I mean, that's how much content that we have. So much content that it's massive, and it will massively smack you in the face.
You'll play with your bird so much, pretty soon you'll be looking around for somebody else's bird to play with.
Hey everybody, it's your favorite Filipino bitch, Miss Slatko Fudd, telling you about shop.deadpit.com. Simply the best horror shirts. On TeePublic, there are others, but they all suck. And it's the best goddamn deal on horror shirts you will ever see. New shirts, old shirts, all the in-between shirts. God damn it, bulls, go over to shop.deadpit.com. You ain't down with that. You can go to fucking hell.